Hey, what's up YouTube? Today we're talking about Nikon's latest premium DX format camera, the Nikon D7200. Now this guy cost about $1,200 body only in the US, about just under 1,000 euros in Europe, and about just under 85,000 Indian rupees here in India. So we mainly gonna talk about the body here. Our review unit is body only, but you also might get it in combination with various kit lens. So first, let's check out what's in the box. In the box, when you open it, well, it's a pretty compact box for a rugged DX camera really. So you'll get the camera, plus you'll get the ENEL 15 battery pack, you'll get the strap, USB cable, the charger, the eyepiece cap, and your manuals that will include your warranty card and quick start guide. So as you all know, the D7200 is an upgrade of the D7100, which was released way back in 2013. Now before going ahead with the build quality and buttons and controls and all those stuff, let's first shed some light on the differences, the main differences between the D7200 and the D7100. D7200, remember, is not a radically upgraded model. It's more of an incremental model, but Nikon has added some really good upgrades with the D7200. And my personal favorite would be a large buffer size. The D7100 only had a buffer size of about 6 raw files, 14-bit, and its burst rate was 6 fps as well, so you could actually run the burst rate, burst speed for about 1 second only. Here that was increased to 18, so you could probably go on for 2 more seconds, so in total 3 seconds in that same 6 fps burst speed that this guy has. In 1.3x mode, it by the way has a 7 fps, and then in 14-bit raw mode, it has 5 fps speed. So 18 is a huge improvement, almost 3 times of the 6 that the D7100 has, but still less than up to 31 burst speed of the 7D Mark II when you're using a fast CF card. Apart from that, other improvements include you have an updated image processor. Of course, all the newer Nikon devices come with the X-Speed 4, and Nikon DSLRs, the X-Speed 4 processor. The D7100 has the X-Speed 3. And then you have an updated multicam 3500 DX2 autofocus system. Now you have the same 51 point autofocus system with a center 15 autofocus points across type, but now all those cross type points were rated to the sensitivity of -3 EV compared to the -2 EV of the D7100. Apart from that, this one has Wi-Fi and NFC. Well, I don't use them much anyway. You also have slightly larger battery life, and then it now has 60p, that's progressive video recording in 1.3x mode only. Right guys, now that's gonna be one of my disappointment when I give you the verdict already. It does not shoot at 60p or even 60i at DX mode. It only goes a max of full HD at 30 fps, but at 1.3x it now records at 60p progressive. The D7100 used to record at 60i, that meaning interlaced. And last but not least, the D7200 now supports flat profile, which is absolutely brilliant. I almost always use the flat profile. So now talking about the body is almost identical to the D7100, both in terms of dimensions and in terms of the weight, and you still have that bulky DX body. Now even the D750, which is a full frame body, that actually looks very slightly smaller than the D7200. Starting with the grip, now I used to like the D7100's grip. The D7200 grip is also as good, but since I held the grip of the D750, I do not like any other grips of the Nikon and DSLR camera. So I just wish they made the grip as comfortable as or as secured as the D750. Apart from that, on the front side you have the same button arrangement. You have the lens release, but then you also have the AF motor in the body, so that you can use the older D series of lenses here as well, which do not have AF motor in their body. And on top and back side, everything almost same button and control layout. On the left side you have a provision for both external mic and then sound monitoring via headphone jack and your HDMI out, and provision to attach a GPS and stuff, also your USB data transfer provision. and then you have dual SD card slot, does not have a CF card, and then your battery slot. Now it takes the same ENEL 15 that the D750 takes, but overall it's a very tough body and weather sealed all the way, magnesium alloy baby. Now let's talk about the performance of the D7200.
The system overall is snappy and responsive. The menu gained a video dedicated portion like the D750, which we like. We would have liked the capacitive touchscreen as well. As far as autofocus performance is concerned, the D7200 has a brilliant autofocus system in form of the new Multicam 3500 DX2 system that has the same 56 points with the center 15 points cross type, but now the cross types are rated up to -3 EV of light sensitivity as opposed to -2 in the D7100. This shows in real life as well. We could consistently nail focus mostly even through glass and on subjects that were against bright sunlight. The autofocus speed and accuracy is not as good when live view is switched on due to the relatively inferior contrast detection autofocus system. The detection is more or less accurate, but autofocus transfer from one point to another is jerky and the lenses go back and forth in a typical contrast detection autofocus motor motion. We got about 16 shots in 3 seconds in raw 14-bit mode, which is actually more than the 5 FPS promised by the company. The buffer is also almost promised at about 17 shots before the buffer fills up. The buffer fills in about 5 seconds. RAW versus JPEGs, both are of brilliant quality. The JPEGs are not overprocessed. They are also not noisier under low light, which means that the high ISO noise reduction of the D7200 is good enough. We also like the white balance correction on the JPEG. As far as color is concerned, the JPEGs are a touch warmer than the RAW. Whether that's good or bad, it's really subjective. You can also see the flower color on the RAW file is slightly towards magenta. The JPEG is closer to what the color actually was. As far as ISO performance is concerned, ISO performance is good till 3200. At 6400 we saw slight noise which went only web uploadable at 12,800. 25,600 is scrap. Do not expect full frame level of dynamic range, but still the D7200 has a very good DR, certainly the best in its class. Look at the tiny crop part first, where we could recover an incredible amount of details, and then comparison of the color card and how much can be recoverable. The third case was hopeless anyway, that was just to show you. In both cases we found tough to bring the luminosity closest to the original, but I think still the results are hugely satisfactory. Movie mode, the D7200 can only record 60 fps at 1:3 crop mode, which is one of our major complaints. While comparing the Full HD at 30 fps of the DX mode with the Full HD 60 fps of the 1:3 crop mode, we found that the DX mode to be sharper throughout the frame, more so towards edges. The 60 fps smoothness of the 1:3 crop mode videos is not noticeably better than the 30 fps rate of the DX mode. I would stick to the Full HD at 30 fps of the DX mode even if I have to crop a bit later.
So then, do you like the D7200? Well, let's talk about the pros now and then the cons. The main pros are that Nikon has really added some very good feature, although not radically changing the body here. Number two is that the dynamic range and the low light performance is as usual brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Plus the buffer rate has increased a lot, and we found almost what Nikon claimed, another good thing. And also it now has the flat profile, and Wi-Fi NFC can be good for someone who we are used to share them very fast, maybe with your clients, or so you can quickly transfer your media to your tablet and show your client. Now the cons. The main con that I have from all the current crop of Nikon DSLRs is that the autofocus performance on the video are as bad as ever. You still do not have a smooth autofocus transitioning between subjects or between foreground and background. The contrast detection autofocus system on the video here on the live view still jumps the focus points or the focus areas, or wobbles it, and it actually looks very bad because the lens keeps on hunting. There's also autofocus motor noise from the lenses, but Now the AFS lenses still make much less noise, but the video autofocus at least has a long way to go before it's matching the counterparts like Canon 70D or even the 7D Mark II or even the Sony Alpha series. The Alpha A77 II is brilliant. Now, talking about not only the autofocus, the video in terms of resolution that it captures also is way behind the competition. Boy, people are now shooting 4K on full frame, and this one still does not have a 60p full HD resolution recording at even the DX mode. It only has that in 1.3x mode. We expected much better than that. Probably some people would have wanted a touchscreen, but I understand it's targeted toward pro DX users, so maybe a touchscreen would reduce the rugged content a bit, but touchscreen autofocus is really cool these days, so I would have probably liked that as an addition. So the bottom line is, as far as stills is concerned, the Nikon D7200 absolutely tops the DX class cameras now, and at least the DSLRs between the popular brands like Pentax and Sony and Canon, and here this is certainly better than the 70D. That's almost comes close to this price point. The 7D Mark II, again the DR and the low ISO performance are better than the 7D Mark II. The 7D Mark II is costlier, and both niches are actually different. The 7D Mark II has 10 FPS, this one only has 6 FPS. That's geared towards serious action and sports photography. This also aids you in action and sports photography, but it also can be a very good all-round camera. If you like this video, please hit the like button, ask anything related to this camera, the D7200, and we'll try to answer them all. And please subscribe to our channel and share this video to share the love. Ciao.